Tigers win it 4-3 behind stellar outings from Kade Anderson and Anthony Iansson. They eliminate Texas A&M from the SEC tournament, ending the Aggie season, which had to carry a nice sense of satisfaction for the LSU Tigers after dropping that series in the fashion that they did in College Station earlier this season. What it also does is advance LSU into the semifinal round where they will face Ole Miss on Saturday afternoon. That game is scheduled for 1:30. However, it's been moved up already for rain, so, take that with a grain of salt. Just a really awesome performance from LSU on the mound. The offense, they got off to the great start you wanted them to. LSU did not score a run against the Texas A&M bullpen all season long, which is disgusting. But you don't have to play them ever again. That part is done. And their season is over. And again, that has to be satisfaction. I'll tell you this, there might not be a better team to end their season than Texas A&M. I know that's going to put a smile on a lot of LSU fans' faces after doing that. And, congrats to the team. There's a lot we need to go through here. Y'all smash the like button, please, if you have not already. Please share as well. Get subscribed up to the YouTube channel. Also, and your favorite podcast app. Take the show wherever you may go. Just search Moose with the Box. Follow on social media. And let's go ahead and dive right into it. We will start with Kade Anderson because, my goodness, Kade freaking Anderson was just in fuego from pitch number one. You're looking at a guy now after tonight, 6 innings, gave up the 3 earned runs, punched out 12. 12 out of the 18 outs he got. He punched out 12 of them. The fastball was up to 96. He had everything working. The first trip through the lineup, 8 strikeouts against 9 hitters. It reminded me, I'll tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of his start against it reminded me of his start against Southeastern a year ago in the midweek, where he struck out, I believe he struck out 13 in 5 innings in that game, and he was just dominant and in complete control, had every pitch working for a strike that night, and he did again here. In 2 outings versus Texas A&M, Kade Anderson has thrown 12 innings, given up 4 earned, and punched out 24 while walking just 4. He ate against one of the more talented lineups in the nation for 2 games. I understand there was no Caden Sorrell tonight. I get it, there's no Gavin Grahovac, but, I mean, someone in the chat just said they hate playing them because the lead never feels safe. That's because of the lineup. I mean, you still got Wyatt Hensler, you got Bear Harrison, they're deep and talented. And Kade Anderson just ate their lunch for 2 games this season and was awesome. I'll tell you the other thing he did tonight, which I absolutely love. Is he passed Liam Doyle for the nation's lead in strikeouts. Kade Anderson now at 145 strikeouts is your nation leader in K's. Anthony Iansson, the guy who closed it out, is number 3. Those 2 have just been phenomenal all year for LSU, and they were again here tonight, and couldn't have come at a better time. Could not have come at a better time. I want to come back to Iansson in a moment, but, Anderson, that gets him win number 7 on the season, which is, obviously great to see as well. Just the dialed in. But what was impressive was that second trip, win number 8 for Kade Anderson. My apologies. It was his bounce back. When A&M did mount offense there, that second trip through the lineup in the 4th, he gets out of it, preserves the lead, and does the same thing again in the 6th. Preserves the lead each time. He kept it small, and even when it looked shaky for him there in the 2nd, in the 4th, because think of how that inning started in the 4th for Anderson. I mean, you go leadoff walk. It was a great at-bat by Kent. Hensler singles, Laviolette singles. They strung together 3 great at-bats against him finally. And you look up, it's a 1-run game. There's runners in scoring position and nobody out. And credit him, he gets 2 strikeouts and a flyout. And quite honestly, just early in that inning, the put away stuff wasn't as crisp. For him to be able to find that again against Bear Harrison, against Royo, that was huge. And that eased any and all concern you might have had of things kind of getting away from Kade Anderson. He was awesome. And he did the same thing in the 6th inning. After allowing a run in the 6th inning, he gets the ground ball double play. And, you move on. And then Anthony Iansson. And I know a lot of people, because you already have asked, why pitch Iansson? And I will just tell you, this is something we talked about on this show this week. What did I say all week? My goal in the SEC tournament is to get your number 1 and your number 2 work. I would say get them a start. But in a single elimination format, you don't have that luxury of having a game to play with. Jay Johnson knows he wanted to get both of them work, and that's why you saw Anthony Iansson. That is the sole reason. I know people are going to wonder, is he going to start game 1 of the regional? I will believe that when I see it. Jay Johnson threw Paul Skeens against a 19-win Tulane team. That was basically a high school team, all due disrespect to the Tulane Green Wave in that comment. And you threw Paul Skeens. Like, sure, could Iansson do that? Fine. That's not going to make me happy either. I would throw somebody else against the 4 seed and save your horses. Jay's not going to do that. This was for me solely to get Iansson work. And if you've been listening to the show, it shouldn't have come as a surprise because we laid out this exact, path potentially for LSU and it came to fruition. I loved it. I really did. Because now you have accomplished everything you needed to accomplish here. You got your first 2 guys work, and you got guys who you were hoping to, kind of continue to stay hot, some live at bats. And while the offensive numbers aren't good, and you didn't have a hit, you didn't have a base runner since the 3rd inning, you have to focus all in on those first 3. And I thought LSU did some really, really good early in the game offensively that I want to get to. But Iansson, that 7th inning, and here's the deal. I want to speak on this too, because I know there's probably going to be a lot of Aggies that are pissed off about the runner's lane interference. It was the right call. And here's the deal. LSU fans, you should remember this. This happened in a game for LSU in this very tournament against South Carolina in 2023. It cost you a run. And what we learned there in that game on the ruling is if your foot is a centimeter inside the first base chalk line, it is runner's lane interference. I believe it was Braden Jobert that was running down the line in 2023 for LSU. And if you go back and you watch that replay, not only did he make contact with Jared Jones's glove, which, hello, but before he lunged for the base, when he lunged off his back foot, his toe was pointed inside the line. There's your centimeter. So it is the correct call from that motion. And it didn't cost you the game. You know what potentially cost you the game? Gavin Cash freezing on a perfect squeeze bunt. That's not something A&M does all year. They hit the ball out of the park. That's unfamiliar for them, and it showed in that moment. You got them out of your comfort zone. Out of their comfort zone. So, but what was huge there was Iansson, after that correct call is called, and then you have the freeze on the squeeze bunt, he strikes out Hayden Schott. That was a really interesting decision by Michael Early as well to pinch hit in a 1-1 count. And then Schott came in and let a fastball go right by him. Like, my man, you gotta come off the bench, swing. You got a 1-1. You're not going up there 0-0. You're inheriting a 1-1 count. You gotta be ready to swing. He was not. That got Iansson ahead, and then he just finished him off. And from there, I thought Anthony Iansson was crisp. He really settled in, and credit him as well. That is a unfamiliar spot for him to come into the baseball game, and I think you saw that a little early, and then he really settled in. They were great. him and Anderson were phenomenal yet again, man. They combined to strike out 16 Aggie hitters. 16 Aggie hitters. And just walked 2 in 9 innings. They were fantastic. Offense. Let's talk about that because the first 3 innings were phenomenal. The first 3 innings were phenomenal from LSU. They did awesome. They were ready to hit against Miles Patton, which you have to be because he's a strike thrower. That first at bat of the game by Derek Curiel, huge. Curiel is in a 1-1 count, fouls off 4 pitches and ends up doubling off the lefty. And you'll remember if you listen to the preview, that was one of the things we talked about. Wanted to see Curiel take great at bats against the lefty, and coming off of his last appearance against the lefty, he started to do that against Jake McCoy of South Carolina. He went 1 out of 3 against the lefty tonight, and his second out that he made, he got robbed in center field. I mean, he smoked the ball again, and Terrence Keel caught it. I thought Curiel took excellent at bats tonight against the left-hander, and that gives me confidence with him going forward. Ethan Fry, man, you know what? I meant to grab my notepad and go through my A&M notes from that series to see exactly what Ethan Fry's numbers were. He was fantastic again tonight, doubled and then homered. That home run he hit is one of the more impressive ones. He hit that thing on a line out of the Hoover Met. That is not a small ballpark, and the ball does not carry. And for him to hit that on a line and no doubter, that was really, really, really impressive. So you put up a 2 spot there, the inevitable 2. Yes, you were helped out by the young man in right field just inexplicably dropping the ball and inexplicably jumping for the baseball. I don't know what he's doing there. But that helped you out. And then look, in the 3rd inning, it was Fry again. Dickinson reached. Also, actually, hold on. Whoever the official scorer is at the Hoover Met, that was egregious tonight. First of all, to rule Fry's hit a double, that was an error on the right fielder. And then to rule Dickinson's single an error on the shortstop when it hopped on him and was hit like 100 and some odd miles per hour off the bat, and he had to range towards second base. That is so awful and so bad on that person's accord. That sucked. Anyway, I love seeing the hard contact from Dickinson and then Fry homers. You look up, LSU had 4 runs on 4 hits through 3 innings off of a tough lefty who carved you up, and you're feeling like it's great. And then the offense went into a hole, and that's what they do on the road. And that's why all of you should be very happy that they're playing 2 rounds of postseason ball at home. LSU, away from Alex Box Stadium this year, neutral site or true road game, has averaged 5.5 runs per game. At home, in 35 games, they are averaging 9 runs per game. And you get to play 2 weekends at home, provided you win. And I think you will, because you've been almost unbeatable at home. And yes, it's disappointing to see them not be able to keep up that offensive pressure. It is. But it's what we've seen all year. It's what we've seen all year from them away from home. And I really didn't expect much different. But I think there are some good things they did early in the ballgame offensively. They had a great approach. They were ready to hit. Like I said, I like Curiel's at bats. I love seeing Fry keep going. I liked the hard contact from Dickinson. Hated bunting him in the first inning, but that's a different story. And I loved seeing Milam get another knock. And his first at bat, man, that's awesome. So, again, would you have liked innings 4 through 8 to be better? Yeah, but I can't say I'm surprised. That is what this team has done all year away from home. And you could ask, does that concern you for Omaha? Yes, yes, it does. But I also know crazy things happen in Omaha. And man, if you're saving your breakout, offensive performance away from home, Omaha's a great place to do it. And all it takes is a week and a half of your best baseball. And that's the thing. I don't think LSU's played their best baseball yet. And you can do that. But if you're going to ask me, are you nervous of them having to go to Omaha potentially and travel, and yes, I am. but you'd always rather your season end in Omaha over anywhere else. So you've set yourself up for that. You were safe coming into this. You were good, and I mean, now you just move on. The LSU is going to be a national seed regardless, a top 8 regardless. So, but I'll tell you what, I think it's very satisfying to that team that they got revenge on Texas A&M. I think it's very, very, very satisfying. Because man, LSU lost that series. They A&M didn't win it. LSU lost it, and that was disappointing. All right, let's move on to tomorrow for a little bit. Jeffrey Wilbanks, you're the latest to ask who gets the start. I mean, man, look, you've got a lot of options. I mean, Kade Evans has obviously started. Chase Shores has started. I wouldn't mind seeing Jaden Newt potentially get the ball. Like, you have a lot of options. If I had to guess and bet, I would say they go Kade Evans, just because, I mean, that's what they've been doing. Provided they aren't gonna pitch him out of the bullpen. So that's what I would think. If not Evans, I would think Newt. One of those two is what I'm going with. I don't think they're moving Shores back to the rotation anytime soon, nor do I think they should. If you need him in a spot start somewhere in Omaha, okay, but he is so comfortable in the bullpen right now that I'm not doing anything to disrupt that or mess with it. So, I mean, that's what I think they do on the pitching side of it. And then, I mean, the result, I know this is going to piss a lot of y'all off. The result of tomorrow's game means absolutely nothing to me. Like, if LSU wins and they play on Sunday, cool. If LSU loses tomorrow and they go home, even better. Just, you got your guys' work, and you got some good live ABs in. You can pack it up and go home. And await your fate on Selection Monday, where you'll be a top 8 national seed. We knew that coming in, and you'll just wait and see what your draw is. And typically LSU gets a pretty favorable draw when they host a regional. So we'll see there. As far as anything else y'all would like to talk about with tomorrow's game, hit me up. Let's get some questions in here, and then we'll call it a night. So anything you got to ask for tomorrow's game, for the postseason, anything you want to ask, go ahead and ask. This is your open your open mic session here. Also, please smash the like button while we wait for some of those questions to come in. Please share the show as well. That's always greatly appreciated. Follow on social media as well. Very much appreciated. Ola Tiger, will LSU get no hit tomorrow? No, Ola, they will not get no hit tomorrow. Cloud Zach, sorry if I missed a discussion on Iansson. Do you think him coming in tonight was due to the weather tomorrow? It could be, but I think maybe because you didn't want to start him and stop him, but the thing there is, no, you don't want to start him and stop him, but the important thing is getting him out there, getting him some work. The result of the game just doesn't matter, right? In a sense, sorry. But I think it was more just guaranteeing that you got him work, Cloud Zach, because there was no guarantee you'd win the game, and you wanted to get him in there to get your top 2 work, and they did it. So I think that's really mainly what it was. $2 super chat from GJ Trauma says Kade is inevitable. Yes, he is. He's absolutely fantastic. My friend Michael says, who will LSU see on the mound tomorrow? Let me pull up Ole Miss's team. I have not watched a lot of Ole Miss baseball this year, y'all, and LSU did not play them, so I did not dive in a lot. Obviously, they've pitched Hunter Elliott, Riley Maddox threw for them today. That would the kid's name is escaping me. That's why I'm looking this up. I don't think he pitched today, did he? And my computer's gonna move slow because of course it is. Why wouldn't it? We're not trying to do a show here or anything. Yeah, it's going to be Mason Nicholas. They still have their number 3 available to start, so I would imagine you'll see Mason Nicholas. LSU's seen him plenty. So, I mean, that thing, CloudZach said Mason Nicholas. Yes, thank you. So that's who it'll be. I'll be honest, y'all. I don't know what they really have in their bullpen left. They've played. You've played one less game than them, but you've also used Anderson and Iansson up. So, we'll see. The thing I'll tell you about Ole Miss, they've got some awesome bats in that lineup. The Rebels lineup, they can swing it. Judd Udemark has been awesome. They're big, hulking second baseman. Luke Hill's been very good. Mitchell Sanford, former LSU Tiger, is hitting over 300. Got double-digit homers on the year. So they've got some pop in there. Ryan Moorman, a guy who's been really, really good for them also. So the bats are good for the Rebs, and they're hot in this tournament as well. So that's what I would really caution you for more is the bats. Let's see. I got to get to a lot of these. So hold on. I'm trying to scroll back through. Let's see here. Hef says Jake Brown or Josh Pearson tomorrow. Well, Brown started against a lefty tonight. I thought his last 2 at-bats were really good. He hit the ball hard. He just had nothing to show for it. But with a righty on the mound and Nicholas, I would expect Jake Brown. We kind of talked about Ole Miss's arms already. Average Oak says, how about Ethan Fry? What a great form to be headed into regionals. Absolutely. I mean, Ethan Fry's the leading hitter on this team. And he's smoking the baseball right now. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's, you can't ask for more than him doing that currently. Let's see. Y'all are just talking a lot about Justin LaGrange says, what do you think about your boy saying LSU is not a top 8 seed? Who is my boy? And who said that? Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I firmly disagreed with that. As soon as LSU beat South Carolina, that was a wrap. That was a wrap. LSU could have lost this game tonight. I don't care that their RPI would have fallen a few spots. I don't care. One game in a single elimination tournament that does not matter is not greater than a 55-game sample size where you saw this team be incredibly consistent, win 19 games in the league, and finish top 4 in the toughest league in the country. Like, you don't lose all of that because you drop a game to A&M. That was just never going to happen. DJ Drama Gaming. Well, I kind of just answered your question with your super chat. LSU had a top 8 seed locked up before this. That's a good part. A good point by I don't know how to say your name, but Mormon got hurt today. He did. He was part of that just scary collision out in right center field. I saw somebody ask one that I wanted to answer. John Mahal, is there any benefit to trying to win the tournament still? Would that give you a more favorable regional or super draw? No. In short, no, it wouldn't. And there's no benefit to winning it. If you can win it, by all means, go win it. But there's no benefit. You're locked in. Everything is taken care of. And, I mean, you go forward with it. It's why you just you function things the way that they did tonight. So and oh yes, Federico. I forgot about Hayden Federico. That kid, freshman, really good bat for Ole Miss. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any of these questions, but it's hard to pick the questions out from just y'all's comments. My friend Mike, would it have been smart to pull Iansson after the 7th, 12 pitches to try and start him for a championship side? No, because y'all, he was trying to get him work. That's it. He was trying to make sure he pitched, stayed in some semblance of his routine, got work, and you move on. It had nothing to do with anything with anything other than that. Let's see. Somebody's talking about DoorDash in there. What are we doing, guys? DJ Trauma says, if Musso did call-ins, I'd donate $50 to $100 each time. No call-ins, DJ, but if you want to give me $50 to $100, I'll take that very happily. I mean, I'm not going to prevent you from doing that. If you want to do that out of the generosity of your heart, I will take that 100%. James Charles says, with 16 teams in the league, will the SEC go back to where the bottom two don't make the SEC tournament? No, they won't. Because they're trying to maximize the teams they can get into the NCAA tournament. And it's smart. I don't like it because I don't like the format. But it's smart. I mean, A&M, yes, DJ Trauma, you did not. I read all of them. A&M is the reason why. Like, this was A&M's ticket. I know they would have been in anyway, even with the bottom two being left out. But you want a team like that to get hot and run through this thing and steal a bid is ultimately what they want. Will that ever happen? No, it won't, because you have to play too much. You have to play too much baseball, and eventually, like what this does, having the top four have 2 full days off, it just ensures that they're going to win. That they're going to win the tournament from here on out. I mean, no one's ever won this thing from Tuesday since the format changed when they added 12 teams. That's a really good question from Kobe. Does Kade or Luis get the start tomorrow? You know, conventional wisdom would say Aaron Beatty, but he normally catches Iansson, and Iansson is pitched. So I don't know. That's actually a really, really good question. But I would think he wants to expose Kade Aaron Beatty to this environment. So I think you could see Aaron Beatty do that. Why are we talking about wedding Musso in the chat? Oof, boy. He's a guy, I can't lie. I do love wedding Musso. He's awesome. I have a lot of fun when he shows up. All right. Look, y'all smash the like button, please, one more time on your way out. Share, follow on social media. All of that is greatly appreciated. And be here next time for more on Musso at the Box.